All right, Love Them Knives channel. Artisan Interceptor in G10. Well, welcome back. Here we go with the Artisan Cutlery Interceptor. An interesting looking knife, huh? I think when I talked to Russell at Artisan Knives, he said these were really popular. I can't remember if it was the Blade show in Atlanta or if it was Blade West. It might have been Blade West in October of 2018. In any case, so he had pretty much been bought out of them at that show. And it's got a deep carry pocket clip. Of course, you can go right or left hand. Obviously, it's got openings through the scales, through the liners, all the way through. That's part of the design. And you've got a big cutaway here. It kind of, I don't know, Interceptor? Yeah. Fighter jet? Yeah, kind of look like that. It's in motion. It looks like it's in a motion. And then, of course, available to your Torx to take apart. Looks like an 8 there, and these are 6s probably. Lanyard hole placed through here. Big, long back spacer, which, yeah, feels pretty flush. Let me see. You know, you always get just a tad of some feel of a little edge here. It's not like it's really aggressively chamfered on the inside of the edges, but on the outside it is. I don't really notice it when I handle the knife in any case. So, yeah, you can see. Now, you've got like a thumb ramp here. See that jimping? So that gives you some stability here when holding the knife and hopefully when cutting with it. Now, this is the G10 model. Let me grab a piece of paper. Oh, thanks. Big piece of paper here. So it's D2 steel on the G10 models, right? And then you can get a titanium model with M390 or S35VN. Here's a picture of the blue one. So I think these are really stunning in titanium. I think if I had an Interceptor in my fold, it'd be hard not to get, yeah, the titanium one. I really like the way they've done the dual colors here. This whole setup is really interesting to me. And with an M390 blade on it, that'd be excellent. This is interesting how this flipper tab ends up out here. It looks like the heel of a shoe. You know? I mean, it's very strange. I'm not sure that I'm all up with this. It's on an angle. It's pretty intuitive, but I don't know if I like the way it cants forward like this. I would want it to cant downward, and I wonder if they couldn't have made it more like maybe canting forward a little bit like that, or maybe somewhat straight up. I don't know. It's just something about when it's not so much when it's like this that bothers me. It's kind of like a bad dog with ears pointed back, you know, getting aggressive. But when you push it out and this comes forward, then you feel like, where am I going to interfere with cutting tasks because I've got this pointed out underneath this choil part of the blade? I can't really go forward there. And had this been straight down, I probably could, but I can't because of the way it cants forward. You got that? Okay, so the one thing for sure is the pass-through is really broad and open and easy to disengage the liner. So not a problem with that. Like I said, you know, it does have cut-throughs here, and therefore it should help with the weight of this knife. And how big is the knife? Well, let's get fancy out here. Let's see what we got for size comparison. Whew. Okay, it looks bigger, doesn't it? Let's flip them around. Let's give her a chance to be the boss here. And now they look pretty close, but I'm gonna guess, and I've slept since I've done a measure on it, but let me see if I can get this tip out of here. Oh yeah, okay, so this thing is almost 4 inches, 100 millimeters blade length. If you go up here, you're still, 3 7/8. Okay. Overall, 8 7/8. Come on, get back into focus there. So not quite 9 inches, 22 and a half centimeters. 22 and a half centimeters. This is a big knife. This is a big knife. Not quite 9 inches, but it's kicking it in the butt. So no wonder the paramilitary at 8 1/4 looks a lot smaller, because it is, especially blade length. This is a killer blade, isn't it? Whew. I mean, this doesn't look like your mild-mannered, everyday cutting task type of blade shape. This looks really, really, really piercing type. That's what it looks like to me. They're D2. We've tested it. And, the HRC's been really high on this stuff, so it should perform pretty well. Oh, now I got pieces of paper all over the table. All over the table. In any case, so yeah, although the D2 formula has been heavier than standard D2 on the chromium part, so it should be even more resistant to corrosion than standard D2. But the HRC's been really high, anywhere between 60 and 63 on these. Wow. It's got bearings on the pivot. I didn't take this apart. Actually, it's got pretty good action for a little G10 knife. Just a little Linerlock G10 budget folder. Surprisingly. And the Artisan knives, to me, kind of vary from one to another, depending on which model. Some I'm really impressed with the action, and some, not so much. So this one, actually, as much as I don't like that flipper tab, the way it angles out here when it's open, the rest of this knife I really like. Actually, I don't know. Let me see if I could just... it's hard to get, even with the Linerlock, it's hard for me to get my finger in there. And maybe you could. There you go. It might take a little getting used to and a little practice, but it's so, up against this scale. There's not a lot of separation here to try and get your fingers into this. Come on. Wow. Yeah. Well, the detent's such that it's not real easy with the finger flicking. So no. And try it this way. Yeah, I can break it loose there, but I can break it loose there, but as far as flicking it, it's not doing it for me. Let's go a little closer to the pivot. No. Well, it'll break away. Okay, so the detent on this one is pretty stout. It's not unbelievable, but let me see if I can... Wow, no. I'd say 5, good solid 5.5 on this one. Fail it. Come on. Nope, couldn't fail it. Okay, come on, let's try it again. Yeah, I failed it. So, not easy to fail it, and it's a good-sized blade. So, yeah, maybe a bit over 5.5, maybe 5 3/4 on the detent scale. 6, I definitely cannot gravity flip. This would be very difficult to gravity flip, very difficult. So, at least this one with this detent. So, that's good, which the only problem is, what I like about a knife that you can, that's set up for flickability like this thing flicks so easy, but that's because the detent is so mild, okay? So it flicks real easy. And I would prefer this one to have a little maybe taller cutaway. You can get your finger in and flick it. But me, I'm pretty much stuck with the flipper tab because nothing else is just all that enchanting. It's openable with your middle finger and also with your thumb, but it's not easy. Yeah, it's not easy. Not for me. And I like to flick them open when I can. So, yeah, fit and finish is pretty decent. They got ceramic bearings on the pivot. Let's weigh it up. We never did do that. It's like, dude, 10 minutes in, you haven't put it on the scale yet. Yeah, but I'm busy playing with the damn thing. 4.4 ounces. 125 grams. It's for a 9-inch, almost 9-inch knife. I guess it's not too shabby. Well, and of course, as we've said before, we're missing some material here. I don't mind the design overall, but this thing here is kind of bothering me. You take away from the height and cut away this front part, and it makes more sense to me. And you could probably do that if you knew how to grind things down. You could take the height of this down a little bit and take some of this off the front. Here I'm redesigning. I was talking with Jeff Hall the other day, who's the owner of Nemesis Knives, and they do the Mar Private Reserve designs that Al never made. He worked with him back in the day. But in any case, and I said, I need to start my own knife company, but I won't design knives. I'll take knives that I feel have design issues with them and make them better. I'm going to call it Failed Designs. I'm going to call it Failed Designs. And I'm going to take all the knives that I wish they would have done different things to, and I can think of a bunch. And he goes, you'll never get the rights. You'll never get the original designer to agree to it. And it's like, yeah, probably. But Failed Designs. Isn't that a great idea? We'll take these knives, we'll remake them, we'll change them the way they should be. Because you know what? I like this design. And I really like it in the titanium. But that flipper tab's just freaking my mind out. The action here is really good. And look at the design. The design flows well. So Mr. Bitch and Moan, here you go. Right hand, left hand, ceramic bearings, deep carry pocket clip, all the stuff. Vicious looking, wild, futuristic, fighter plane design. And here you are, all hung up. But I am on this thing. This dog-eared, whatever they did to this flipper tab, I don't know. Sometimes I wonder if they actually really spend that much time with the prototype before making changes. If they make changes. It's reasonably centered up, pretty close. Let me check for blade play. Maybe I've worked it loose. Yeah, I have. I have worked it loose. Let me see if I can tighten this thing back up. You think it might be better then? It shouldn't be any. I shouldn't have to tighten it. Nah, that's plenty good. Bingo. Perfectly centered. Yes. And how's the action? A little stiffer now. Not too bad. Okay. Hey, you always got to check, don't you? I was looking at that, and there's a lot of people go, oh, I got a knife, it ain't centered up at all. And I'm going, it's still just a skosh off, maybe, isn't it? Favors that side just a bit, but, well, then it favors this side up here. So that's pretty good. In any case, we can live with that. But yeah, I always like people go, it wasn't centered. It's like, do you check the pivot, the adjustment, and everything? Yeah. Should be just a matter of the correct pivot adjustment, you'd think. Although, yeah, some of them just don't center. Any case, what do you think? It's fairly light for what it is. It's a G10 model. It's pretty inexpensive. I will give you the link to White Mountain Knives. You can buy them with a black blade. You can buy them with a silver blade. You can buy them in green, orange, black, however you want to do it. $59.24, 10% discount with LTK discount code. So let's say $6 off, right? So 53 delivered, full size 9-inch. Bad boy. The ergos are fine. You know, I'm good with that. A reverse grip, that feels good too. I mean, yeah. Sharp out of the box. D2 steel has been tested and should perform well. Ceramic bearings. Interesting, very aggressive design. You just can't please them all. All right. Thank you so much for hanging out. You know what we do around here. We love them knives, so you guys stay sharp.